Ladies and gentlemen, the academic procession is about to enter the hall. We will be singing the National Anthem. The words are on page 11 of your program. Now please stand for the academic procession and remain standing for the National Anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Please be seated. I, Catherine Branson, Chancellor of the University of Adelaide, declare open this congregation, convened for the purpose of presenting degrees. Distinguished guests, parents, relatives, friends, and most particularly those of you graduating today, welcome to this University of Adelaide graduation ceremony. Gana Miana, Gana Yata, Nadlu Tumpandi. In English, we recognise that we're on the land of the Kaurna people. We acknowledge the Kaurna people, past and present, the original custodians of the Adelaide Plains, and thus of the land on which the University of Adelaide's campuses are built. We acknowledge the Kaurna people's ongoing spiritual connection with this beautiful land. Graduates, your graduation is an event that you, your family and friends can take great pride in. It's also a source of pride and satisfaction to the University of Adelaide and, of course, to the staff that's worked with you and supported you during your years of study. Graduation Day is an opportunity to reflect, looking back on what brought you here and looking forward to where your future may take you. This day may well signal a significant change in direction in your life. But however your life proceeds in the future, the education you've had here, the skills you've developed here should stand you in very good stead in your future life, both in your employment life, your professional life, but we hope also in your private life. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce to you today's graduation orator, Ms. Stephanie Schmidt. Stephanie Schmidt is passionate about developing a thriving rural Australia, supporting individuals and communities not only to grow, but to thrive. Steph is a clinical psychologist and a farmer, running a large sheep and cropping farm with her husband and 3 young sons. Most recently, Steph was honoured to become South Australian 2020 AgriFutures Rural Women's Award winner. She is the founder of Act for Ag and Cultivate Psychology. Stephanie combines her psychological knowledge with her lived experience of the challenge and rewards of farming life to introduce accessible and effective resilience skills to our farmers and our rural communities. We're privileged to hear her speak today. Please welcome Ms. Stephanie Schmidt.
Thank you so much, Professor Jacqueline, Honourable Catherine Brunson, Professor Jacqueline Lowe, distinguished guests, members of staff, and especially graduates. Thank you so much. I'm honoured and thrilled to be here speaking to you today. I would like to also begin by acknowledging the Kaurna people, the traditional custodians of the land which we stand, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. I'm also privileged to live, work and raise my family on Ngadjuri country. What is the hard lesson that the universe keeps putting in front of you that you have to keep learning and unlearning and relearning? In her podcast, Dare to Lead, Brené Brown asked this question to each of her guests, leadership experts from around the world. And as I listened, I started thinking, what would my answer be? For me, the lesson that the universe just won't let up on teaching me has been the lesson in surrender, or more importantly, the power in learning to surrender. When I drove in this morning, it brought back memories of 15 years ago when I started as an undergrad in my double degree of International Studies and Arts, with not much direction on where I wanted to head in life. And if you'd asked me then where I'd be now, I'm fairly sure I wouldn't have said working and living on a farm with my husband, working as a rural psychologist, and definitely not being the Rural Women of the Year for 2020, and definitely not standing up here and speaking as a graduate for the graduation speech. But in learning to surrender and let go of the stories in my mind and opening up to opportunities, I find myself here today. So by surrender, I don't mean in the meaning of giving up, but instead in letting go of the struggle against the assumptions and the expectations and learning to show up raw, vulnerable and open. Letting go of what isn't and what should be, and instead leaning into what is or what could be. Surrender is about letting go of the tug of war and the battle with the stories in my mind and stepping out and taking charge of what I can do. Surrender is the practice of giving over to what is happening right now in the present. It's not always pretty. It's not always about feeling happy or feeling good. It can be full of vulnerability and pain. But in the practice of surrender, we can practice being present in the moment and opening ourselves up to opportunities. 8 months ago, I gave birth to my third son on the side of the road in the middle of the night, 10 kilometres out of Clare, with only my husband by my side and the midwife on speakerphone, in what was the most ultimate act of surrender in my whole life. In those brief yet powerful moments, I learned about courage, trust, vulnerability, and more importantly, showing up in the present moment. Courage to do what I felt wasn't possible. Trust in myself and those around me. Trust that the things I'd been working on over the months would pay off. And the vulnerability to show up and be in that moment exactly as it was. And yet surrender is still a lesson that I have to practice and learn every single day. Over the years, I've had many big and small lessons in surrender. As I raise my children and work alongside my husband on our farm, it's been lessons in surrender to drought, motherhood, surrender to trying to find the balance between farm life, work life, motherhood, and instead surrendering to going with the flow. And even in the apparently positive or good moments, such as winning the 2020 SA Rural Women's Award, I had to let go of my expectations and assumptions of what I could and couldn't do, and instead lean into what I could control in those moments. When I think about the birth of my son, yes, I had little choice in that moment of when and where he was going to be born. But in the months leading up to his birth, I had worked and practiced building the skills and trust in myself and my body. In the same way as you step out into the next chapter of your lives and celebrate the closure of this chapter at university, you can take the skills that you have learnt with you. University has taught you so much more than the skills and the subjects you've taken. Continue to use your skills in questioning and open-mindedness, thinking outside of the square. Use your scientist mind to test hypotheses and think and rethink. Adam Grant, an organisational psychologist and author of Think Again, describes the importance of thinking like a scientist, something you'll already know and do well. You know what you don't know, and you're eager to discover new things. You don't let your ideas become your identity. You look for reasons why you might be wrong, not just reasons why you might be right. You listen to ideas that make you think hard, not just the ones that make you feel good. And you surround yourself with people who can challenge your process, not just the ones who agree with your conclusion. Keep hold of this scientific mind and let it serve you as you continue your careers and life to work to make the world a better place. Surrender is not about throwing my hands up in the air as if I have no control. Instead, it's about letting go of trying to control what's outside of my control, which instead leaves my hands open to hold lightly and take control of the things and the choices I can make and what matters most to me. To do this, it's a constant practice of letting go and finding what it is that drives me and truly matters to me. Finding these values can guide you as a journey through your life. They serve as a compass for the choices that you make. All of you here today have worked incredibly hard to come to this point. This is a time to celebrate all you have achieved so far and to find what drives you and take that out into the world. I think that surrender and striving can go hand in hand, because when we surrender and let go of the struggle and fight against what isn't, we can conserve our energy and choose to put that energy towards what is most important to us. So often our expectations on ourselves or others, or even the world as a whole, can get us hooked and trapped, locked into unhelpful behaviours, or even locked out of making the changes that we actually can control. I see surrender as the act that allows us to let go of everything outside of our control and stop wasting our energy in that fight, and instead put our hearts and energy into what is most important to us, what really burns within you. But believe me, this is way easier said than done. You need to find the way that is unique and individual for you to put that into action. These don't need to be in huge, world-changing steps. Instead, the magic happens in taking tiny daily steps and tweaking them. Find the scaffolding and supports, or create them, to be able to make that happen. But within each and every one of you, there is a spark, a flame that burns within. It might only be smouldering away, but the gift of surrender is when you stop putting your energy into the fires that not only don't fuel you, but potentially could consume you, and instead pour your fuel and energy onto that tiny spark that really lights you up. Sometimes that spark may dwindle to a tiny ember. Other times it will burn so bright that you will light up the sky. If you surrender and let go of the challenges that come, you make space for the opportunity for that flame to grow and burn bright. Find the people around you who help to fan and provide oxygen to your flame, and as your strength grows, find how to help others to light theirs too. And seriously, if every single one of you out there were to find that spark and light it up, the fire would light up the world for good. There's no rule book of how to do life. We might believe and get hooked by the stories our mind tells us of what we should or shouldn't do, but the magic happens when we unhook from those stories. Show up even when it's uncomfortable, even when it hurts. Ariana Huffington, the founder of Huffington Post, stated, "Life is a dance between making it happen and letting it happen." I would add that to be in that dance, we also need skills in surrender and flexibility. Be open to the challenges outside of your comfort zone. Say yes, be curious and courageous, and show up with vulnerability. Practice surrender and let go of what no longer serves you. Find what lights you up and put your energy into that. And along the way, make sure you help others to find their light too. So today, take a moment to notice and appreciate where you are right now. You've worked incredibly hard to come to this point, so take time to breathe it in, celebrate it, and enjoy it. It's also just one moment within the rest of your life. So surrender and let go of what has come before and what may yet come, and embrace those things that bring you joy, challenge, and fulfillment. Thank you.
On behalf of my fellow graduates, our friends and families, I would like to thank Ms. Stephanie Schmidt for her inspiring words today. We're very honoured that you've shared with us your thoughts and experiences as we chart new territories with our hard-earned degrees in hand. And your words of encouragement and advice remind us that education places upon each of us an enduring responsibility to contribute to the betterment of society in whatever positive way we can. And what this past 12 months has demonstrated is that the power of global collaboration in science is both necessary and achievable. And as Louis Pasteur famously said, science has no country because knowledge belongs to humanity and is the torch which illuminates the world. So please join with me in thanking Ms. Stephanie Schmidt for her inspiring talk today.
I will now receive the candidates for degrees. I call on the Acting Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Vice President Academic.
Chancellor, I, Professor Jacqueline Lowe, Acting Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Vice President Academic of the University of Adelaide, certify to you and the whole university that the graduates who will be presented to you have all fulfilled the conditions prescribed for admissions to the award for which they are so presented.
I, Catherine Branson, Chancellor of the University of Adelaide, by virtue of the power committed to me by the university, confirm that each graduate is admitted to the rank and privileges of a holder of the award in the University of Adelaide for which they are so presented. I call on the head of the School of Animal and Veterinary Sciences, Professor Wayne Hine, to present the graduates.
Chancellor, I, Head of the School of Animal and Veterinary Sciences, Professor Wayne Hine, present to you graduates from the Faculty of Sciences. To the degree of Bachelor of Science, Veterinary Bioscience, Delphi Emily Allison. Emily Jacqueline Anderson. Emma Rianne Barlow. Madison Taylor Harun Bilby. Tyler Shay Butenga. Kai Xing Chao. King Yu Choi. Paul Michael Christensen. Megan Coulihan. Pia Coughlin. Jade Emma De Beer. Imola Kate Dunn. Jordan Elizabeth. Kimberly Moore Foister. Jacinta Madeline Gilbert. Tess Amelia Giltrap. Akira Jess May Glamchevsky. Isabel Francis Goldsmith. Sarah Ann Hare. Emily Patricia Halloran. Jacqueline Amelia Harris. Ashley Jade Hill. Carly Samantha Holman. Megan Elizabeth Homsch. Sarina Iguchi. Lily Jarrett. Chloe Johnson. Jackson Lloyd Judd. Bradley John Katimis. Victoria Louise Kitschke. Isabella Anna Clara Kotasek. Hannah Louise Kress. Brianna Jade Lambert. Kimberly Adelaide Landis. Pui Ming Lee. Rachel Lim. Sebastian Michael McCatspack. Jennifer Kirsten May. Erin Jessie McGilvray. Chloe Marie Mertzenidis. Joanna Sarah Nelson. Catriona O'Leary. Stephanie Rose Oliphant. James Patton. Suwen Shimon Pok. Edwina Marie Pine. Kaisha Marie Saylor. Elisa Shinozaki. Jessica Singh. Michael Romesh Sinia. Catherine Grace Sloper. Matthew John Sholto Stacey. Nicholas Goss Verco. Regina Warren. Rosemary Janelle Wilcox. Genevieve Emily Williamson. Zoe Louise Whitver. And Chevey Wong. To the degree of Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, Sloane Louise Abraham. Ella Bartolovich. Henry Martin Barzado. Amelia Lara Ben. Elka Bainan. Nada Blagojevic. Kate Eliza Collins. Tanya Yasmin Dean. Ruby Donna Easter. Madeline Kate Foster. Nancy Fernandez Gomez. Mitchell Benjamin Graham. Brittany Elizabeth Hallett. Gemma Lee Hassam. Serena Lynette Hawes. Taylor J. Hawkins. Annalise Claire Highcope. Michael Ian Hilditch. Lisanne Huang. Amber Myrie Jurek. Michael John Lake. Ashley Claire Lane. Toby Jade Leary. Rebecca Kate Lewis. Andre Leshy. Matilda Jane Lovegrove. Tamika Anne McElroy. Charlotte Sarah McNeese. Olivia Lee Miller. Vian Wingtong Ng. Jade Elizabeth Noyes. Johan Hampus Frederick Persson Modig. Mai Yuan Po. Madeline Reichstein. Daniel Martin Reiner. Jasmine Michelle Rokoff. Claire Georgia Russell. Georgie Janet Ryan. Ellen Kate Sanders. Hayley Jane Smith. Leonarda Banasha Spee. Laura Rose Stewart. Rohan Kumar Suresh Kumar. Sophia Anna Sweet. Simone Robin Trelaw. Jonathan Owen van Dissel. Victor Law D. Yee. Jordan Olivia Wainwright. Brodie Mitchell Webster. Lauren Marie Williams. Courtney Jane Wilson. Mankit Wong. And Vanessa Sherry. To the degree of Master of Philosophy for a thesis entitled A Study of Non-Typhoidal Salmonella Virulence, Talia Sherilee Moyle. To the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for a thesis entitled Quality of Evidence Used for the Management of Antimicrobial Resistance in Australian Animals, Skye Michelle Badger. For a thesis entitled Improving the Welfare and Performance of the Sow and Piglet in Confinement and Reduced Confinement Farrowing and Lactation Housing, Patricia Charlotte Condis. For a thesis entitled Clinico-Chemical Parameters of Fetal Fluids and Maternal Blood in the Bovine Model, Effects of Genetics and Sex and Relationships with Feto-Placental Phenotype, Entisar Saleh Mo Schwaib. For a thesis entitled Investigation of the Microbial Flora and Immune Function of Abalone as Indicators Associated with Summer Mortality Syndrome and Development of Possible Preventatives, Yan Hui Wang. Chancellor. This concludes the graduates from the Faculty of Sciences and for this ceremony.
Chancellor, the University Doctoral Research Medals are awarded to graduates who have completed outstanding research at a doctoral level. This award is the premier award for doctoral candidates at the university. I, Professor Jacqueline Lowe, Acting Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Vice President Academic of the University of Adelaide, present to you a recipient of the 2019 University Doctoral Research Medal for research in the School of Animal and Veterinary Science, Skye Michelle Badger.
I'm now very pleased to present to you Mitchell Benjamin Graham, who was presented this morning with the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. Mitchell will now give the valedictory address on behalf of the cohort of graduates who are presented with their awards today.
Good morning, distinguished guests, Ms. Stephanie Schmidt, members of faculty, my fellow graduates, parents, family, friends. I am extremely honoured and humbled to stand before you all today, and especially the graduating classes, as the valedictorian and present this address on behalf of them. I will start by acknowledging that 2020, and certainly my final year at this university for now, was an incredible year. It began as a year of incredible natural disaster as the bushfires ravaged Australia. It was, of course, a year of incredible global disaster as the COVID-19 pandemic gripped the world. But it was also a year of incredible resilience shown by each and every student and member of staff here at the University of Adelaide. The way that the staff within the university have constantly pivoted and adapted to provide us with continued high-quality educational experiences despite the obvious hurdles of the COVID-19 pandemic is truly inspiring. Due to their leadership, we can sit here today in Benithan Hall and receive our testimonials of graduation in person, and for that, we must be thankful. As we used to sing each year at the Roseworthy Review, we really can say that we have made the A grade now that we have our degrees from Adelaide. To undertake and complete a university degree requires dedication, diligence, hard work, mental fortitude, and strength of character from the student. But these attributes are fostered by a number of different people who, without them, our success would not be possible. And I would take this opportunity to briefly thank those people for their hard work, sacrifice, and most importantly, their continued love and support. I'd like to thank parents, family, friends, my fellow alumni, and pets in our case for getting us through a degree at the School of Animal and Veterinary Sciences. But most of all, I want to thank all the beautiful people up at the Roseworthy campus. See, unlike most degrees at the University of Adelaide that are based here at the North Terrace campus, the veterinary degrees are taught at the School of Animal and Veterinary Sciences based out at Roseworthy, a short 50-minute drive north of the city and situated on the edge of the beautiful Barossa Valley. It is this wonderful, tight-knit community of passionate educators, support staff, and students where everyone knows everyone. Undertaking the DVM program is a 6-year investment, so I and every other graduate of the DVM program have spent just under a quarter of our lives out at that campus every day, and I certainly have grown very much attached to it over the years. I've gotten to know the many people that make the campus tick, learned with them, laughed with them, grown with them, worked alongside many of them in my final year, and come to call many of them friends. You can't walk between classes without smiling and waving at, say, Em, one of the diligent cleaners, or Mel and Trev from the teaching support unit, David Purdy, the manager of student services, hanging out in the hub, making sure everyone's having a good day, Associate Professor Ryan O'Hanley with hockey stick in hand, or one of the other Lesky lads out for a stroll. And let's not forget Dr. Rachel Norris, whizzing around campus in our scooter, shouting, "Hey dudes!" And it has provided myself and every other student in this hall that attended Roseworthy with a very unique university experience, and one that I am eternally grateful for. And it's this sense of tight-knit community and camaraderie that will hold each and every one of us in good stead as we venture out into our careers. See, the veterinary profession is not without its challenges. James Herriot even remarked that he could have gone in for something easier and gentler, like coal mining or lumberjacking. But in all seriousness, mental health in our profession is a major issue, and I encourage every graduate in this room today to stay in touch with their now colleagues and fellow university alumni in the future. Share not only the good times, the little wins, the achievements, the compliments you get from clients or friends, but also share your struggles, your worries, and your concerns. Work together to become better veterinarians, better friends, better humans, and build a better future for all those around you in your life. To conclude, what I'll say to the graduating classes is this: never stop learning, never stop loving. Be the perpetual student of veterinary medicine and of life. And in the wise words of Dr. Penny Tisdall, keep up your reading. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitchell. It now gives me great pleasure to congratulate as a group all of today's graduates. Be proud of what you've achieved, and remember also those who supported you on the way, your family, your friends, and as we've heard, the wonderful staff at the Roseworthy campus of this fine university. I wish you every success as you enter this new phase of your life and start your professional career. As graduates of the University of Adelaide, you're not just its alumni, you're also its ambassadors. Over the years since this university was established, its alumni have made enormous contributions to communities in this country and all around the world. You now join this community of more than 147,000 graduates of this university who are located in more than 134 countries around the world. We have 17 global alumni networks, including 8 international networks. I urge you to give consideration to perhaps joining one of those networks. I'd like now to thank the Mace Bearer Sky, also our medal winner, and the Valedictorian once again, Mitchell. And I thank also all those who assisted in the organisation and running of today's ceremony. I now ask all of the graduates if you will remain seated while I ask everybody else who comfortably can to stand and join with me in congratulating the graduates on their achievements. Would the audience please remain standing? And I invite the graduates to now stand, please. And remain standing for the academic recession. Once the academic recession has left the hall, we ask guests to please remain seated where they are in the hall until directed to exit by university staff. I now declare this congregation adjourned.